Hi, everyone. My name is Paula Kahumbu, and I'm here with the team for Behind the Look with Erica Rugabandana, who produced the film Living with Lions, or in Kiswahili, Kuishi na Simba. And we're here with the team that produced this film, and we'll be talking to each of them in turn. I'm going to start with you, Erica. This film, Kuishi na Simba, why did you make it? What is the meaning for you behind this film?
Well, thank you, Dr. Paula. I'm so grateful for this opportunity and speaking about my film, Kuishi na Simba. Actually, I've been working as a research assistant and a lion conservation project in Tanzania with Tawiri. Apart from my background being wildlife management, I've been encountered these issues of human-lion conflict, human-wildlife conflict. But since I was working that project, human-lion conflict was such an issue, I thought I should do something to that. And I was working in southern part of Tanzania. And then when I moved to in the northern part, I heard again the same stories of human-lion conflict, and bad enough now is the revenge of people toward lions. They're killing them. Well, if you look at that, we need a balance. The community needs to gain their livelihood, but also we need conservation. And for me, conservation without people cannot be successful. So this film is very important because there are a lot of films that are being made in our national parks. And when you hear Serengeti, it's all the beauty about the lions, the wildebeest, the elephant. But we need to see what is behind that, the other side of conservation. And now it's the people who are bearing the cost, the people who are living adjacent to the park. The conflict between them was of my interest, and I wanted to share it so that the world understand, apart from them seeing the wildlife, the beauty of the wildlife, but there is another side of which we should to make conservation sustainable.
It's really impressive, Erica, that you came from a conservation background, and I really want to congratulate you because you are a beacon of hope for all African women in conservation, but also in filmmaking. Congratulations. And I just want to know, how does it feel for you to be, the shining light?
It feels so nice, especially being a mom and a woman. And actually, I started quite more, DSLR cameras until when I met nature through her eyes in Marseille, France, whereby I met these women, they are all doing amazing work. Could see the films, and they were like, this is possible. I can also be one of them. And then went through different trainings, and until when about the film that I wanted to make, Living with Lions, then she was like, what? We had to discuss about it. So I would say a lot of women need this opportunity. It's only that I got opportunity to have the camera, to be trained. We are missing opportunity of the equipment, but I got one and I had to use to show that we can. And with this equipment, what we are capable of producing. Also, the industry should also interpret that even local filmmakers, local women's, it's not only for, like here in Africa, women are more for, staying home, but we are capable of making this kind of job, carrying a red camera, gearing, all those stuff. It looks like you're so tough. And we are tough, yes. If you're given opportunity, we can.
Well, that's really excellent. You spoke about the gear. And as a filmmaker myself, I'm really curious. So what kind of gear did you use for this film, and how did you prepare for making the film?
I was supported with the red Gemini. That's what I used. And actually, we had a filming vehicle whereby we had to create a balcon where I could sit on and have the camera there for easy, filming, and a long lens 800 Sigma. So that's what I was using. Yeah.
Shall we watch your first clip and see your selection of what you'd like us to watch?
Yes, please.
Mzee
Naam.
Ana sisi tunacheza, naona kama umekasirika sana.
Sina raha ndugu yangu, sina raha. Usiku wa kuamkia leo saa 7 usiku, simba wameingia kwenye boma langu, wamekula ng'ombe 7, wamejeruhi 3 na 10 hadi sasa sijawaona, wamekimbilia polini.
Hiyo ni taarifa niliyosikia kwa jana.
Kama usikia kelele usiku.
Ndio hata mimi simba alishakamata mbuzi wangu, kwa hiyo nikuchukua hatua.
Unajua hawa simba inatakiwa tuwawekee sumu. Inatakiwa tuwawekee sumu kwa kweli, maana wamekuwa tishio.
Lakini sawa, nayo ni njia, lakini kwa mimi binafsi nimeona kwamba ni vema kwanza niripoti kwa vyombo husika, kwa sababu wale ndio wanahusika na masuala ya wanyama. Lakini vile vile huwa nasikia kuna vile nafidia, kama wakiferi kunipa msaada, basi yawezekana njia yenu ikawa sahihi, lakini binafsi mimi naona niripoti kwanza kwa vyombo husika.
Mtu mwenye dawa au sumu.
That was a really interesting scene, Erica. I'm very curious about why you chose this particular scene for us to watch.
Yeah, I choose this particular clip because actually for me, this is very important. You know, in a normal setup in Africa, men after, all day work, then at evening, they sit and discuss their own issues, especially those, the issues that they touch their, their life and what. And so there, they were talking about the lion's problem. This man was talking about being attacked. And the other one is saying, okay, we should take action. And the solution is to kill. And the other guy is like, no, I think we should take action. We should follow the procedure, report, that. And the other guy is against. But that's the reality. That's what is happening. So I wanted, to show what the community are discussing in real sense when they get problem of human lion conflict and even other wildlife.
It feels very authentic. I feel like I could be there at that kiosk also buying a soda or something sweets and the men sitting there playing a game. How realistic is it in and I understand these are not professional actors. How did you find the people to act in your film?
Okay. Actually, for me, I think I'm very good at, talking and mixing up with people. And during research, when I was, writing the script, I had to be in Serengeti in the area, and I had to talk with them a lot, having dinner with them, having lunch, walk with them. And then that's how they get used to me. And then I got to select the key people for my film and those who are willing to share. Like Mr. Maewa is actually the person who has experience, and he was ready to share, and so that the world and other people could understand what is happening. So that's how I selected these actors.
That's really wonderful. So a lot of relationship building. And have the community seen the film? And if so, how did they respond?
Wow. They have seen. And I've shared the screen, the film to them once. They were so happy. And actually, they're very happy that this message is going broad and with a lot of expectation that they should do something, but also other people could also support them with what they're facing, because a lot of projects, what they're telling us, a lot of projects are coming here. They're saying, we are going to help with you with this problem, but the problem still exists. Yes, it's true, they are still bordering. And so we need to find a way of enabling them to coexist with wildlife. So the only solution is we film, do our project and bring back the feedback of what we have done.
Yeah, thank you. It's really wonderful to have a story that is really relevant It's a global story, but it's also a local story, which it has global importance, but it's a local story. I really, really love that. Your editor was Julie Busse. Julie, I'm going to come to you next. This film had this amazing two parallel stories, the lions and the people. And you edited the two separate storylines. Tell me, what was that like? How did you bring these two stories together?
Well, first I want to thank Erica for such a fresh approach to a film. That was something when Jacqueline approached me about being on this team, I was really intrigued by it because Erica's direction were that in addition to showing the struggles that these farmers from and cattle farmers from Tanzania were facing, it was also we needed to show that the lions are not vindictive. It's nothing personal. It's just when the dry season comes, they're starving, and that's why they're going after the easier food, which I think is a really, again, a very nuanced view of this situation that we don't see very often. I also really want to thank Jacqueline as part of the editing process for your artistic eye and experience and just like weaving. We worked together a lot on getting this story to feel just right. So maybe I could show a clip and we could talk about it a little bit. So there's a couple of reasons I wanted to pick that little tiny scene out of, all the great wildlife filming that you did, Erica, as well as Cyril and Jacqueline. The direction, again, was for these lions to show the effort that is part of these lionesses' lives. And so to have failure was an important part of the story. And something I love about the scene is thanks to the really awesome music by Labdi and Marcia and the Tikwenda team, it's got that build up, it's got that kind of traditional, ooh, super exciting, here comes the hunt, and then it just ends. And I really love, Erica, that you let the camera roll there and we see the zebras going by. And I feel like you can really see, like, or maybe personified, depends how you look at it, the kind of exhaustion on that lion's face. I also like this clip because you see how close the lions all came to the cars, which again reflects your knowledge of the park, Erica, but also the way you all set up. That's why there had to be that cut there, actually, as they come so close, they go out of focus. Like there's like this knowledge of where the animals are going to be, how are they going to behave. Again, like you filmed them in this really respectful way, right? They chose to come close. It wasn't like you're out there chasing them, And then I also, the final reason I wanted to bring up this piece is that there's a couple editing tricks that are happening in here that are serving Erica's vision of trying to, again, give these lions dignity in a similar way we would, show humans or people or anything like that. So there's actually a mix of zebras all through this scene, but I'm trying to look to find ones that can connect visually. All those lion bits are actually from different shooting experiences. So how do you use editing to bring those together seamlessly? And again, with this really clear focus on facial expression and like pacing and like allowing the lions to stand for a few minutes and catch their breath, I think is really important to conveying that feeling. So, and then finally, I deliberately showed that last cut into Machaba, the actor, who's actually, I think his real name is Dowdy, if I remember correctly. standing there because the cuts between the human and the lion sections were always really important, right? Because we want to show that they're all living together. So if we went back and looked at that cut really carefully, the lions and the kid are both looking the same direction and walking in a similar part of the frame. So every cut is trying to bring them together visually.
That's just amazing. There's so much poetry, I would say, in the way that you've done the whole editing and brought those sequences together. And as an African who's been, searching for this kind of storytelling, it's really refreshing. And also to have beautiful wildlife in the film, but also beautiful humans also part of that story. It's very, I think, very exciting and something new and fresh. But your background, though, is from a totally different genre, right? I understand that you were filming ballet and other kinds of films. How did you come to nature and wildlife?
Oh, wow. So yes, I did about 10 years in the dance film industry in New York primarily. And before that, I worked in like experimental cinema and video art and that sort of thing. So and again, I think Jacqueline and I really share this love of art and this love of film history. Dance is a great place to come from in so many ways. First of all, a lot of the content is very similar. A lot of dancers are, making work that is about social justice, environmental justice. There's a lot of different types of people and bodies. So like in addition to doing ballet, I also covered, Vogue, like underground ballroom dance and hip hop and African dance and kind of, roll on the ground contemporary dance. Dance has so much to give about the human experience. And then, of course, visually, it makes a lot of sense with nature because it's telling stories without words. It's like very beautiful things that really only happen once. And granted, you can talk to a dancer and like sometimes ask them to reshoot, but sometimes not, right? Like sometimes they're way out in the field and like dancing in the dark under the moon, and so I always had an interest in, animals and nature in my own personal work, my own personal films. And so around the time of the pandemic, I decided to lateral over if I could, and I found the community to be very welcoming. I found the transition to be really interesting. And yeah, and actually it's funny because now whenever I get tapped in the dance world, like for an extra editor, I will often ask nature editors, and we're starting to pass back and forth a little bit because it's so similar in many ways.
Well, it's such a gift that you've been able to help bring Erica's vision to life through beautiful, editing style and just the coloring and everything is just really, really stunning. So Labdi, Ommes, you worked with Marsha, Bua, and other musicians and composers to create a brilliant score for this film that really added to the many different layers that made it truly African, but also a global, fantastic showcase.
Right.
Tell me more about the score, how you did it, and what was behind the ideas.
Sorry for cutting you short. I mean, it was really, really an experience because it was one of the first few films that we scored being so separate from each other. Normally we do our scores, we compose together in the same room for weeks or maybe for a couple of days. But this one was a bit challenging in that we had to, first of all, find a leader and just be like, which one of us is a leader here? And then decide how we're going to move forward. But luckily enough, we're all very, very dedicated and also talented. So it really wasn't an issue in the end to create something that the team liked.
So at the moment, we have Erica in Tanzania, myself in Kenya, yourself also in Kenya, Julie in the USA, and Jacqueline in France. This really is a global effort. And I also have noticed all women so far, from what I can see. Yes. How about in the music score? Tell me about the team behind it. Who were they?
The team is very diverse. We have Marsha Bua, she's an amazing musician based in South Africa. We have Patrick Saiton, who's from France. We have Neil Dermon, who's like a genius, and I think everybody knows this, is from Morocco. We have Seronga, who is from Seronga, that's what we call him. We have Muhamago, he's a composer from Mozambique. So it really was a melting pot of talent and people from different parts of this continent. It was really such a blessing to work together and to continue to work together.
Well, I have to say, I mean, it was such a joy to watch a film made in Africa with a very strong African music track to go with it. Is there a particular part of the film that you'd like us to share, to see?
Yes, there definitely is a part, and Julie will bring this up for us.
Tumekuja kutoa taarifa, kuna simba wamevamia kwa jirani yetu, wamekuwa mifugo. Simba? Ndio wote. Wamevamia mifugo? Ndio. Sehemu gani, kijiji gani? Kijiji cha Rubanda. Kijiji cha Rubanda? Ndio. Hii ni dharura. Watu wanataka kuwaua simba. Watu wanataka kuua simba? Ndio, msipotusaidia simba wanaenda kuuawa. Wote wanaishi. Hebu kaeni hapo.
Hello. Safande, kuna taarifa moja hapa. Simba wameingia kijiji cha Rubanda na wameweza kukamata ng'ombe kwenye mazizi ya watu. Na sasa hii tayari pale wananchi wamejaa. Sasa tunaomba msaada ili tuweze kusaidia pale kuwazuia wananchi wasije wakawaua simba. Sawa, nikutakie jioni njema afande. Kazi njema. Sawa, tumemaliza. Nendeni, tunakuja sasa hivi kuwasaidia. Si ndio? Haya, asanteni kwa taarifa. Ndio. Mwai nyumbani.
Nyanji, nafikiri ninawaza. Waka tuende, tumechelewa.
Really enjoyed, as actually the composers, we had a lot of discussions when we got to this point, because when we were watching the film at the beginning, we were just like, oh, we were really hoping that something good happens. And it was so beautiful that there was a bit of hope, and that was like the first sign of hope for us as a composer. And it was like, oh yes, we were all discussing it and we're trying to figure out the best sound for that part. And I think we argued a little bit, but the technicality of the sound in that part is what I really want to highlight, that you know, we had so many versions within ourselves before we submitted the music, and it really just shows what teamwork is, because there's like this, without even knowing what it is, there's orutu in that, there's a horn section in that, there's nail sitting somewhere making the pads and mixing, and there was really a lot that went into that little scene that might be overlooked by people who don't know what was happening there. So we really are appreciative of you giving us this opportunity to, you know, experience ourselves and to express ourselves beyond what we normally know. So it was really fun doing that part.
Well, thank you so much for that, Labdi. I really appreciate it, and also understanding the complexity of putting together a score for a film of this length, and the film goes through so many different emotional moments. So I can see that it must have been a lot of work, but it's so incredible that the teamwork is really what brought it together. So I'm going to go to you now, Jacqueline. You've really been maybe the champion, bringing together different people. What do you think in terms of this film and the future of films like this film?
Gosh, I'm very grateful actually to be working with a majority female team. It's been such a terrific experience. It really has. You know, I've been a filmmaker and producer for many years, and I've been to the Serengeti many times making films for European audiences. I had never been to the villages that Erica took me to, and working with Erica just opened my eyes so much to a whole other side of conservation and what's really going on that I had no idea about, no idea at all. And so that was really, I do thank you, Erica, for that. It was a wonderful experience for me to be able to go along with Erica and meet everyone in Rugabandana village and really talk to people in a very deep and sincere way to really sort of get a much better handle on what was going on the ground. I love Erica's film. I think it's fabulous, thanks to Erica's incredible cinematography. I mean, she did such an amazing job with that long lens. in the park. It's not easy. We all know filming wildlife is not easy. Using a long lens is not easy. She was just absolutely knocked it out of the park. She really did. When the broadcasters, Curiosity Stream, saw her initial rushes, they were just over the moon, you know, with what she'd done. So that was really fabulous. And then working with Julie, so talented. I think we've all seen with the cuts, and working with Labdi, Marsha, Neil, and Muha, all the musicians. It was really a terrific experience for me. What I really love about Erica's film is I think it's very different to a lot of the wildlife films we see nearly everywhere. Actually, I feel that Erica's really brought us a story that really works at once on a national level, which is really important for the conservation work that Erica's trying to achieve on the ground, but it also really works internationally because it's a story and you get attached to all the characters, both the human family and the lion family. And I think she did an amazing job of putting both those families at the same level. So you really understand the conflict, because there are two families, you know, the human family, the lion family, and they're both struggling with all these odds. And I think she did a really terrific job on that, you know, showing audiences, both in Tanzania and internationally, what that's all about. So I'm really excited to see not only what, you know, Erica's going to do next, but also you know, so many other, you know, African female directors. I know Erica's very keen to start training people herself. And in fact, I think she's going to be starting a training course quite soon, within the next couple of months. And I'm just really, really excited to see, you know, all these new films, all these new stories coming through, told in a very different way, in a very new, fresh way that really have impact for conservation.
Well, this is really exciting because I think this is the first big film of its kind, which is led by an African woman. And it's also an international collaboration. But Erica's voice is not watered down. And I meet hundreds of African filmmakers who aspire to be great filmmakers, but they're still working only for other people. And for Erica to take on this ambition is very inspiring. And I remember at the Pride Lands Festival, when she won the award, you know, all those beaming, hopeful Africans who had come to witness and share and celebrate with Erica was just so phenomenal. I know that it's already, you know, having an impact. Many, many people are now saying, wow, if Erica can do this, then I'm pretty sure I can do it as well. So before I close, I would like to go back to you, Erica, and say, well, you know, this film really, at the heart of it, it's about lions and the relationship between lions and people. And lions are among the fastest declining predators in the world. So I'd love to know more about the campaign you have to address the challenges that lions and humans are facing in the effort to coexist.
Dr. Paula, well, since the film has been released, it has been shown to more than 5,000 people, and both at the schools and also at the communities. And I'm looking forward to screen more to many villages that are adjacent to national park, especially the national parks that have experiencing human-lion conflict. And through that, you know, I think the film itself brings the lions closer to the people. The film builds the attitude, you know, because we are trying to show that these lions, they're just animals, they're not bad. As the perception current is, lions are bad. So wherever they find them, they have to kill them. But they shouldn't do that. They should know that they have to coexist with them. They should find a better way how they can live, and understanding these lions will come along their places when they are actually having, you know, some issues in the park. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to screen more. I'm looking forward for the international and audiences to see the film, understand the reality, and help the people, because we need to help this community to coexist instead of killing the lions. Lions are very important to the ecosystem of the wildlife.
Well, thank you so much, Erica. I think that you have one last clip to show us, am I right?
Simba wamekuwa kero.
Ndio.
Na natumai ndio taarifa umepata, umetutembelea.
Kabisa. Lakini hao simba ni wazuri kwa sababu ni mali ya umma na wanatusaidia kwenye maendeleo ya nchi. Lakini pamoja na hayo wanaleta madhara, lakini kikubwa tuendelee tu kusaidiana na serikali kudhibiti matukio haya. Tunafahamu kwamba kikubwa kilichopo sasa hivi ni kuendelea kuelimisha wananchi hasa kwenye swala la ulinzi binafsi, kujenga mazizi imara. Serikali inafanya hilo sana kwa kushirikiana na wadau wengine wengi. Tutajenga zizi la mfano pale kwa ajili ya wananchi kuweza kuona, ili waweze kuona, wale wenye uwezo wa kujenga waweze kujijengea pia wenyewe.
Kwa wale tulioathirika siku za nyuma, sio kuna fidia au ndio hivyo tena basi?
Ni kweli kwa mujibu wa sheria fidia haipo, lakini kilichopo huwa ni pole tu. Kwa mujibu wa sheria na kanuni inalipwa 50,000 kwa ng'ombe mmoja. Lakini kikubwa hiyo haisaidii sana. Kikubwa tudhibiti matukio haya, tuishi mazingira rafiki ya kuwa pamoja na hawa wanyama bila kubugudhiana. Tuimarishe mazizi hayo.
Okay, yeah. So that clip is very important because you see we have the DGO, the district game officer, who is trying to talking to the community about what the policy is talking about, you know, people who are being affected by, you know, wildlife. As in the film, we have suggested that they should build the strong bombers, the strong corals for them to be able to exist in that place. Yeah.
It's a very difficult message, but it's amazing that in Africa, there is still an incredible level of tolerance and acceptance of animals like lions living with people. So your film is so timely and important. And I feel that the fact that you made it, and it wasn't made by, I don't know, a big international company, but it was made by Erica, has a very important significance to the people in Africa who are watching it, because this is now a story, our story told by ourselves. So I want to thank you so much, Erica, Labdi, Julie, and Jacqueline. Thank you so much for your this great conversation, and very, very best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.